you thinking?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, all right.
You know, just this. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You know, we forgot to do. I didn't even think about it until after the show. Somebody said, "Hey, is there a coverable day?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, yesterday was Wednesday. I should have thrown that into the notes." Totally my fault. I need to remember to throw that in on Wednesdays.
Oh, you had one but didn't have one. Or I mean, you didn't have one.
I had one but did not promote it.
Ah, good.
Did not promote it.
Today we promote it in what's the word? In absentia.
That's right. Yeah, I might mention it.
All right.
It was a good one. It was a goodie.
I'm sure it was.
It was a goodie.
They're always good. Let's do a recording now. It begins
Okay.
in 3, 2. I want to have the right intro for you that you wanted.
Not for me.
The music, yeah. Well, the one you said that we had to have.
I know, it's for Jeannie. It's not for me.
It's always for Jeannie. Jeannie rules. Yes. I'll do anything for Jeannie.
Hell yes.
I'll play this.
I can definitely see why you like it.
For Jeannie. Mm-hmm. All right, here goes. It begins in 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS. Be gone, foul demon.
Fart and a knife. Fart and a knife. 2 bits.
Nice job. Someone has to repel those bears.
He did what? With the what now?
PETA says quit being racist about pigs.
You wrote quick, which is the best part.
It's wrong.
Therapy Thursday and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
Blush is applied to give cheeks a quiet glow. A good rule to follow is never let blush come nearer the nose than an imaginary line dropped vertically from the center of the eye.
If you could anything possibly happen to
Gosh,
people.
dang it. Hold on a second. Frickin' I had that set right. All right, let's try that again. Here you go.
If you fell, you could cut yourself or poke out an eye.
The Morning Stream. That's my safety word.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. I just noticed Brian was dancing. I didn't capture that. Do that again.
Oh,
Show us your dancing.
Well, I'm sure.
I mean, it wasn't on film. There was no... Yeah, there you go. Look at this.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't...
Yeah, you were doing that for nobody but me.
That's all right. No, you know what? I was doing it for me.
Okay.
It's my workout regimen.
Yeah, do it for you. Always do it for you. Yeah, look at you. That's at least 2 more pounds gone.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's the big day. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's good to be here. It is the morning stream for December 6th, 2018. Scott Johnson, Brian Ibbett, and we're bringing it to you. It's our final morning show of the week, but don't worry, there'll still be a PM edition on Friday.
Yeah.
And lots to talk about today. I'm really sore. I should just tell you what I did real quick, and then we'll move on with the business of the day. Yesterday, it all got accelerated. This flooring thing we're doing. I think I've talked about it before that we were going to do flooring to replace.
It was all it was all waiting for you while you were it was all stacked up and waiting for you while you were gone, right?
Yeah,
kind of BlizzCon, like the piles of hardwood flooring.
Yeah, that was all sitting here, and the painting had been done for us. Like Steve and Sarah did this really nice thing for us and all that. But then we've kind of been in a holding pattern because everybody's been real busy. We don't want to spend the exorbitant amount of money it costs to have this stuff put in for us. So we're going to do it ourselves, but we need help because we don't know what we're doing very well. Kim's dad and brother-in-law and all these guys have done it a million times. They totally know what they're doing. So anyway, but we just kind of been in this holding pattern, and the front room little entry area has just been stacked with stuff that's just sitting there. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, see you guys around January. I mean, it's the freaking holidays. Like, it's hard to do it right now. Well, yesterday, I go downstairs to do a show. What show was I doing? Oh, I was with Tom and them.
Oh, yeah, DTNS.
Yeah, doing DTNS. And when I left, Kim and her sister were sitting at the table chatting about whatever, and the dogs were, knobbing around, and everything's just the normal. I come down here, I do my thing. I go upstairs, and there's people prying giant chunks of flooring up from my kitchen and tearing carpet out. So
it's not, right, it's like, they're starting without you. You could have actually kind of hidden downstairs for a little bit longer, and maybe they would have finished.
Yeah, run a couple riffs in Diablo or something, and I wouldn't have known the difference.
Right.
But instead, I went, oh, geez, okay, we're doing this. So I spent, I don't know how many hours lugging old floor stuff outside into a pile that will then be carted off to either the dump or someone's going to actually use the wood for something, but the old wood. And so now what we got upstairs is blank floors. We haven't put the new flooring in yet. That happens Friday and Saturday.
That was one of my favorite match game clues. Blank floors.
Dirty, wet, slippery, pass. I pass and go to the next one.
Yeah.
Wait, that's $20,000 pyramid. Is that what you said? That's not what you said. What'd you say?
No. I said match game.
Oh, Match Game. I never watched Match Game. I always watched the pyramid deal, where they
pyramid was all right.
Yeah.
And Hollywood Squares was okay, but on match game they had alcohol. and you could tell because they would film 4 or 5 episodes all at once.
Yeah.
And so everyone would have to go back and change into different clothes, different great 70s clothes. But Charles Nelson Riley would get more and more progressively drunk.
Was he would be
Actually,
noticeably?
maybe more Richard Dawson was probably the one that would get slowly hammered over the course of a day.
But were they noticeably drunk? You could tell that they
at times, not slurry drunk, but silly drunk.
a little something
like that.
in there.
Yeah.
I could see that.
The good drunk.
Well,
boy, I can't imagine Nipsey Russell getting all surly and pulling a knife and giving one of his poems and ending with "I'm gonna shank you, Richard Dawson."
Nipsey Russell. I haven't heard that name in about 1,000 years. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's I threw my neck out, so this hurts. I don't know what's going on here. I can't turn up here, and I just wasn't prepared, so I just didn't stretch or think about it, and I just went right from slumped over podcast guy to let's move all this stuff out of the house guy. And it's freezing. It was like 19 degrees outside, so we're doing this in the cold, and the door's open, and it's blowing through the house, and it's freaking freezing, and it's just I hate this stuff. I hate the disruption. I hate it. I can't wait till it's done, and there's just a floor, and it's done, and I don't have to think about it anymore. But we're way far from that still. We have still have to lay the actual floor. We're waiting for a bunch of this. I learned about this thing called what's it called?
Underlayment.
Underlayment.
Underlayment. Yes.
Never heard of that.
It sounds like somebody just started attaching suffixes and prefixes to the word lay, right? Just randomly, layment, under pre-underlaymentness.
Yeah, basically. And the way I look at it is like, it's this extra cost I didn't know about. So suddenly I got that to worry about. We got some cheap stuff on Amazon, so it's not that bad.
Heaven forbid your floor sit on the floor.
Well,
sit directly on the floor.
The idea of it is that the stuff we got is supposed to be good enough that it doesn't need underlayment.
Yeah.
But because Kim and I aren't 100% sure about that, we want to get it in, see if we're right, and then we can send it back to Amazon if we're right, if we're wrong.
Well, and here's the thing. You and I both record in the lower levels of our house, right? In the bowels of our dwellings.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want is to be recording a show and hear clump, 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 clump on the floor above you.
Just a dampened sound, won't it?
Huge. It's like floorsolation.
Floorsolation.
That'd be a better term than underlayment. Floorsolation.
I agree. It just sounds like I'm saying underlay wrong. Underlay.
Underlayment Industries.
Yeah. They're exporters and importers.
That's right.
Anyway, so I'll keep people updated on that, but it was a nightmare, and I was really tired, and this morning it was really hard to get up because I was thrashed.
Yeah.
And I didn't even work the hardest. I think her dad did. Her dad was just cranking on this wood, just these big, wedge things. He's turning 70 for heaven's sakes. He's just out there going crank and brink and kink. He's like the strongest, most dedicated dude on the planet. I would wish him on anybody. If you all think you have a poopy in-law, or you don't like your father-in-law, or you don't like your real dad, or whatever it is out there anyone's dealing with, I would just for a day have Kim's dad in your life, and you would change your whole outlook. He's the nicest, most amazing dude. He's great. Anyway,
yeah, that's absolutely one of the parallels for us. Is Tina's dad, same kind of guy, will do anything for you. Like, oh man, yeah, we're you just offhandedly remark, oh man, hold on, our sink is draining slow, and he's over in 15 minutes with a wrench and a bucket and all right, get out of the way, let me fix this.
That's great.
The nicest guy ever. Unless the Broncos are playing, in which case
all bets are off.
Phone's off the hook. Actually, they have season tickets, so they're usually there.
Well, it went fine. It'll continue to go fine, and I think by Saturday we'll have at least the kitchen, living room, and hallway done. The bedrooms will probably come a couple of weeks later, maybe after Christmas. I don't know.
Oh man, it's a brave doing it all like that all at the same time. I mean, there's a benefit to that, but there's also kind of a suckiness of like, all right, well, now we're moving on to this other hallway.
Yeah, it's a whole upper floor, so it's like 1,900 square feet or something. And
wow.
we bid it out just for funds to see what somebody would charge for this, and they're all coming back with like, yeah, I think we can do that on the low side. I'm like, oh, do tell what the low side is. About $3,800. Freaking no, I can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah,
so we're gonna do it ourselves. It's fine.
You know, it's a good life skill to know that you will probably never use again until you have to go over to one of your children's house and help them.
Yep.
You know, in 20 years or whatever.
Yep, that's true. While Kim was doing some of this stuff yesterday, I yelled at her out from outside. I go, honey. She goes, yeah. I go, we're never moving. This is it. We die on this hill. This is the place. She's like, okay. We're not moving again. No way I'm ever moving again. There's no way. Not after stuff like, I hate this kind of thing. I did this before in the old house, replaced a bunch of stuff, did a big thing, paid way too much for an air conditioning swap out, and then moved. I'm not doing that ever again. If I'm spending money, if I'm investing money and sweat and tears and bones and sinew in this place, then I'm not leaving it, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
This is my nest now. My nest.
Dying on this hill. Anyway, so let's get to this. I just thought this was interesting. I don't know if you know this, but Catholic exorcisms are up in the U.S.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Jewish exorcisms or.
Well, no, like just I think
Jewish exorcisms are on the decline.
They're on the decline. I don't think there's any.
You should know from demons.
It's a very good Jewish thing you did there.
Thank you. Hey, well, I'm right in the middle of Hanukkah.
I think the deal is that the Hanukkah. I think the deal is that they're the only ones that perform them. I don't think anybody does exorcisms.
Exactly.
Except for
Yeah, that's why it seems it's funny that the Atlantic decides to put Catholic in this headline because exorcisms are on the rise. Kind of implies Catholic.
Yeah, it sort of does. I think. I mean, I don't know enough about this to say one way or the other, but apparently they're on the rise, and there's a whole article about why and stuff like this. For example, the official exorcist for Indianapolis, Indiana, has received 1,700 requests so far in 2018. Requests for exorcisms.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I kind of want to talk to our buddy Len Peralta, big believer in the demon possession stuff. I don't know if
Does he really, or is that just a?
He used to tell me. He told me this once, off air, offline. Probably privately now.
Probably didn't want anybody to know.
But he told me that. Why is my phone? Hold on. Portland, Oregon. I don't know anyone from there. F off. I'm not answering you. Goodbye. All right. Let me put my phone where I can't.
I like that there's an official exorcist for Indianapolis. Like.
Oh yeah, I think every state.
Yeah, like they've got an office door with just the word exorcist stenciled on the glass.
Utah.
Frosted glass with the word exorcist written across.
Let's see if there's a local one here. This could be interesting. Utah exorcisms. Chad's Exorcisms and Paranormal Investigations, Salt Lake City, Utah.
No way.
Not
Chad?
kidding. Not kidding. Let's see. Is this real? Religious organization is what they call themselves. Is this real? This can't be real.
Chad's Exorcism?
You know what? I'm going to call this number.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell anyone the number, but I'm going to call it. And we're going to see what happens. Okay, so
okay.
So hold on to your butts, everybody. Just take just a second. 801. I'm not reading the number, am I? Hold on.
I'm not going to tell anyone the number. It begins with 801.
45. That's an easy one. Okay, here we go. Put this on speaker. All right, here we go.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, I'm looking for Chad. I have an exorcism to perform. I think my action figures are possessed by my sister's Barbie dolls. Give me a call, thanks.
Get out!
Oh, I'm going to choke to death. That's the other problem is I've got the digging up all the flooring and stuff has created this dust nightmare, and now I'm breathing on all this dust. That isn't helping my long-term cough from my cold. That's not helping at all. It's bringing it back.
Yeah,
That's what it's doing.
No, exactly.
I got to go get the Chinese mouth covers. They're probably not called that. I think they're just, what are they called?
Surgical masks.
Surgical masks. That's what
It originally, here's what little known fact, Scott, is that they didn't originate in China.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that's just the thing. I just wanted to put it out there, and exorcisms coming back. It's a big deal. Oh, but I was going to say when I talked to Len about it, he was dead serious. He's like, "Oh yeah, the demons. That's the biggest, scariest thing ever. You don't think that happens?" I'm like, "No, I don't. Well, I know. I'm telling you, there's any minute now one could sneak into your butthole and you'd be possessed or whatever." He didn't say.
Get in, by the way.
He didn't say butthole. But just in case, I have a little electrical tape down there all the time during the day.
Always. Yeah. Well, who doesn't? I keep a cross down there just in case.
I gave a clove of garlic to keep the vampires away. Right there, just nestled in there.
Do a holy water enema every week.
Yeah, I think Catholics are it though. I don't think anyone else, as far as I know, there's no other.
I don't think so either. Yeah, but let us know if your religion practices exorcisms. Is there a Unitarian exorcism? I figure these all sound like great rock band names, don't they? Like Indianapolis Exorcist seems like it'd be a great band name.
Yeah, or Chad's Paranormal, whatever it would be.
Chad.
Freaking Chad. There's no way that guy's...
I'll be right over as soon as I get off my shift at Best Buy.
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on, lady. You didn't get your receipt. Okay, I'll be right over. I don't know why he's Canadian or...
I know, yeah.
Whatever it is.
That sounds like Rick Moranis.
Yeah, more anus. More anus, yeah. Anyway, all right, now we have some sad stuff to talk about. This is something I was alerted to it by you, and I know that a lot of folks in the Tadpole had been sort of discussing it and talking about it and everything else, but one of our own passed away, and I want to just dedicate this, not just this episode, but this entire week to Blake Edlund, a.k.a. Mulligan in the Tadpole. You'd see him in the chat room here and then. Very active in the Tadpole. One of the faces and voices you'd hear all the time. And I guess it was some sort of aneurysm.
Embolism started in his leg. His leg went numb, and they rushed him to the hospital. And it was in the leg, and then started getting a headache as they were rushing him to the hospital, and had him on life support for a while. And
they had him in a coma for a while, and then I guess it was just a matter of the family deciding what to do. But super sad to hear this, and it also is just a reminder this stuff can kind of happen out of nowhere. I've talked to that guy on email a bunch of times. That always weirds me out when I hear about this, and then I go back and I search around. I'm like, oh my gosh, he was the one I talked to about this, and he was the one that said this in the Tadpole that one time, and like he was one of us, and it's super super freaking sad. And I hope his family's doing okay. I mean, he was young too, like
he was, yeah. And
30s, I think.
And Jeannie reminds us that he was OG Tadpoler, man. Like, back in the early days when before Tank Girl could make it to the Tadpole, and Jeannie of course has been here, and like he was OG Tadpoler.
Yeah, way back in the day. And I've got emails from back as far as like 2008 or 9 from him. So old school listener of the Instance, I think, and some other stuff. So just been around forever and ever, and that stuff comes out of nowhere, man. Like, that's really rough. He was at Nerdtacular. Yeah, that's right. One of the Nerdtaculars, anyway. Was it let's see. Yeah, 2012, the one before the... Yeah, Jeannie's right, I think. So we actually met him. Like, this stuff just hits real personal, and I feel so bad for his family and everybody involved. So... express yourself to each other, and, take care of each other and be there for each other. And that's one of the reasons, I mean, this is a reason why I think it's important that the Tadpole has these connections, because we wouldn't know about it if we weren't this community that was connected and talking to each other, and having knowledge of this would have been impossible. Like, how would anyone have even known if we don't have this connection? So it's important, and, I don't want to take it for granted. I hope other people don't as well. And anyway, this entire show, this week. Oh hell, this whole year. Let's just dedicate it to Mulligan.
Yeah.
Big part of the community. Had a big heart, and we're gonna miss him. All right, now that Free Hotel Room has left the show forever.
now that we don't have Bob Peterson to worry about,
let's
continue on with the show.
I'll tell you what, Bob. If you are listening and this ever happened to you, we'd give you a big send off too. You know.
We totally would. You know we would.
Even though you're.
I wouldn't want it though.
Yeah, that's what he'd
come
say.
here for the funny.
I'm gonna assume that he sounds like Cranky Sergeant from every Army video game ever.
He comes here for the funny, but he stays for the grammar correction. He likes to do that.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what sticks him out. But
Yes.
anyway,
we'll go back to the funny now, because if there's anything that Blake would have wanted, he would have wanted a funny TMS to be dedicated to him. So.
Oh yeah, he wants. If we could talk to him right now, he would say, "You guys, I want you to keep having a good time." I'm sure of that. I feel 100% sure of that. So we're going to do that, and we'll do it in his honor. And again, I hope his family's good. And do we have a connection to them through somebody? Is it like
through Cleo? For
Cleo's
sure.
been talking to him. Okay.
Yep.
I just want to do something. We should do something.
And
I don't know what.
There is a GoFundMe, and I should have had the link in here. I'll find the GoFundMe and make sure that we have it in the end of the show, so that people can go support the family, the medical bills and stuff like that that came up there at the end, and
that'd be
a
good thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do this now.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive sensational summary of world and local events.
It's the news, and it's brought to you by
Skim. The Scott and Kim Show tonight at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Join Scott and Kim as they tell the tale of ripping out all their flooring and not wanting to die afterwards. Get all the details and the podcast at frogpants.com/skim.
This is all true.
Spelled just like it sounds.
Next year's sequel will be called Hole. We'll be doing Hole next year instead of Skim.
Hole.
Get it?
Is Courtney Hole going to join you?
Wrong kind of hole. I meant whole, like whole milk, but.
Gotcha. Now I okay.
Yeah,
because
of the skim.
2%.
Yeah. I should have said 2%. That would have been that. You would have gotten that.
That would have exactly. Yes.
Well,
soy.
Too late, too little for me.
I had to switch to almond milk, by the way. I have the GoFundMe link. What I'm going to try and do is set up a
short deal.
A short, yeah, or maybe somebody in the chat room, since I've actually got a show to do.
Yeah, somebody in there, somebody shorten that thing up. Will you go to Bitly or something?
Oh, Scott's going to get like, passes gas,
Yeah,
right.
right.
Poop, poop joke, yeah.
Poop. So they'll fix that. Someone will fix that. But what was I going to say? I forgot already.
Skim, whole, 2%.
2%. Almond milk. Why are you taking almond milk? What's the deal there?
Because it is the lowest point value on the old Weight Watchers scale. So almond milk is the deal right now for me.
I like almond milk.
You know what? I do too. I don't mind it at all.
It's not bad. I mean, it's basically just almonds soaking in water. And that's how they produce it.
Is that really what it is? I mean, I know there's no teats on an almond, so I know you don't milk an almond, but
yeah, as far as I know, it's just soaked and maybe mashed in there, but it's just there's nothing.
That's what I was thinking. It was like super purified, or not pulverized. What's the word I'm looking? Pureed.
Let's see.
I mean, it's just basically ground up.
Here it is, right here. The basic method of modern domestic almond milk production is to grind almonds in a blender with water. Excuse me. Then strain out the almond pulp or the flesh with a strainer or cheesecloth. Almond milk can also be made by adding water to almond butter. But basically, yeah, you're just taking almonds, mushing them up.
There you go.
Putting water in there and then squishing the water out, which is now infused with a bunch of almond bits, and now you got your almond milk. And there's a certain kind I get, and I forgot the brand, but it has it's a slight vanilla flavor added to it, and it's great. It's like really good. Like I could drink it now, just thinking about it.
Can't do the flavored.
Oh, can't do that. Can't do that. No.
No, not like, let's see here.
Oh, because of the points, you can't do flavored for the
yeah,
points.
exactly. That adds almond milk.
You know, in theory, Brian, almond milk is thick and liquid. I just want to put that out there. It's not very thick.
Well, it's thick and liquid in the way that milk is thick and liquid. I mean, I could take that. That's no problem.
Sure.
And by the way, I've been, drinking eggnog since the milkman, since Tina's parents' milkman has been delivering eggnog to them.
Ooh.
And I consider that to be the thickest of the liquids that I will drink.
Yeah, that is a good liquid that's thick that I will drink also.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's not the same as eating somebody's applesauce to help you swallow. It's not quite the same.
So I'm happy to report that Simple Truth organic unsweetened vanilla almond milk is only 1 point. So I could do vanilla almond milk. It
Okay,
doesn't
yeah,
have
because it's just a
anything.
flavor. It's not like sugar and stuff.
Right,
So
exactly. Silk, 5 points for Silk vanilla almond milk.
That's the brand.
Crazy.
That's the kind we have.
That's what you get?
That's it.
That's probably the worst one on here.
Yeah, that's the one we've got.
Almond Breeze is 3 points. Reduced sugar vanilla almond milk. So I guess unless you get the Silk Pure Almond vanilla almond, no, Silk Pure Almond Milk vanilla unsweetened. So as long as you're getting the unsweetened vanilla, then you're good. It's the sweetened that adds major calories and points and stuff.
Look at the Googleification of almond milk. All of these blog entry titles I have here, I'm just going to read them in order.
Sure.
Why I
Is
quit...
almond milk slowly killing you?
You're on the right path. It says, why I quit almond milk and went back to cow's milk. Next one is the unhealthy truth about almond milk. Next one is lay off the almond milk, you ignorant hipsters. Next one is 7 benefits of almond milk. Next one is almond milk versus cow's milk versus soy milk versus rice milk. Actually, rice milk's all right, too. I don't mind it. How to make almond milk. So there's your results. Nice. Anyway, you can make your own, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds pretty damn easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Get your blend tech out, dump in a bag of diamond almonds, and
Yep.
let it rip.
Let it go. Yep. Well, anyway, almond milk, good stuff. And you fart less, right?
I can't have fake Justine Bateman. Yeah, I fart a lot less. I could walk around Snowbird. Now and not have to say, "Hey Scott, you guys hang here. I'm gonna go check out this alcove over here with the Steve Young painting in it."
Yeah, you just walk up. That painting is real, by the way. The one he's talking about is the actual Steve Young painting.
It's not a fake thing. It's right next to the entrance to Nerdtacular.
We are very proud of our Steve Young heritage here in Utah because we came from here, and when he went to San Francisco and won 2 Super Bowls, mind you.
Is he related to Brigham Young, or is it just a coincidence that you guys like young people?
I think his last name just happens to be Young. I don't think he's related.
You guys just happen to like the young people.
That's like Justin Robert Young being related to Brigham Young.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
Yeah, that's just...
Wow, it's the triumvirate. We need to get so when jury's out there at Snowbird, it's like Steve Young, Brigham Young, and Justin Robert Young all in one place.
In 1840, Justin Robert Young entered the valley and said, "This is the place." Oh yeah, he says. Anyway.
Well, if you don't think that there is the place over there.
There's a famous, I don't know if it's like full on folklore at this point, but it probably is. That when Brigham Young made it to the valley, the idea is all these guys were pioneers moving from the east to the west, trying to find where they were going to be, and they found the valley. And it was supposed to be all stoic. He gets up with his cane and looks out across the great Salt Lake Valley and says, "This is the place." And he slams this thing down. It's all very dramatic, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I think what history shows actually is that they were all very tired. Some of them were very sick. He himself had like gout and 4 other problems. And they were just like, "This is good enough." Hit the thing, and then just stayed here because they could. I think their plan was to just keep going. That would be even better.
That's all I can visualize. By the way, chat room, clearing it up. Brigham Young, Steve Young related, like great grandson.
Oh, I had no idea.
Great grandson.
Yeah,
Steve
well,
Young.
you know that Justin Robert Young's grandfather lives out here. Somewhere in West Valley or something. So I think it's possible that even Justin Robert Young might actually be somehow connected, somehow related. We'd have to do the work, but that'd be funny to find out. Justin Robert Young related to Brigham Young. Wow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, we have a big statue of him downtown where it's right in the middle of the city, and it's him standing there on the, he's got his cane.
Yeah.
He's big.
Yeah. Right.
And he was a big man, like a big brute.
Brigham the Redeemer, I think is what they...
Yeah, there you go. And he's pointing. Yeah, and he's pointing. He's literally pointing like this is the place. The problem is, when they first set it up, it was on one street, and it actually pointed to the place that he pointed. They then moved it to a whole nother place, and now he's pointing in the wrong direction. So it's so stupid. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, his grandpa lives in Kearns, but we call that West Valley. Kearns is West Valley.
Okay.
Kearns is a dump too, by the way.
Really?
No offense to anyone who lives in Kearns, but
Yeah, I was gonna say.
woo.
Whew. You know, you don't hear Todd and Aaron
No.
complaining about Kearns.
I don't think you'd hear Todd
You know
and Aaron
why?
at all.
Because they're
Yeah, what's going on with them? They're done, right? Let's see.
think so.
Todd
Yeah.
and Aaron.
I know you and I both like. Let's quickly
Let's just see what's going
Google
on.
and find out.
Okay, Todd and Aaron morning stream. Let's see. I'm gonna go onto the YouTube channel and see what's going on here.
Hey, it's Todd and Aaron on the morning stream on GephartDaily.com.
Ugh, gross. All right. I just hate hearing someone say morning stream. It just kills me.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back, it says. February 2017. Okay, so now I'm just trying to find the latest here. And it looks like the latest is...
June 29th.
Oh, no, they've got new episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've got Rethinking Baby, It's Cold Outside in the Me Too era. 14 hours ago it was posted.
So they're not on. It doesn't look like they're on Gebhardt Daily anymore. Then, so they must have their own deal.
Yeah, it looks like, and they're just
First
talking.
Christmas card. Happy Hanukkah, by the way. We forgot to mention that.
Absolutely.
On the second. Happy Hanukkah. Our first holiday card wasn't to us.
Okay, I don't know what's going on.
I wish
like
we
it.
could play music. By the way, that whole "Baby It's Cold Outside." Somebody pointed me to a new version of the song that got released close to the beginning of this month, and it must be because of the controversy. But the male lyrics have been changed, so it's like, "I really can't stay. Oh, let me get your coat. I have to go away. Want me to hold the door?
Wow.
What's in this drink? It's pomegranate LaCroix."
Is that for real? I mean, they didn't do it officially. Someone just did it as a thing to clean it up, right? It's not like the news.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's on iTunes. You can pay 99 cents and buy it.
That's really funny.
It is really, really funny. I played it pre-show yesterday. Well, yeah, I played it on Twitch yesterday. But they don't care about me.
Yeah. Well, they may. They're good. They'll get.
They
to
may
you.
care about me sooner or later, but currently they don't care about me, which is
get to you.
just fine. I'm
that's-
happy to be under the radar.
That's totally great. I like somebody who did that. That song's pretty rapey.
I'll send you the whole song so you can check it out. It is. What will the neighbors think? That you're a really nice girl?
Yeah, that song's rapey.
Yeah, that's
It's,
it right there. Actually,
is
JC
this
Calhoun just put it in the.
I'll just play a tiny taste of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little bit here. Here we go. Just a tiny bit. I'll skip ahead. Okay.
I really can't stay.
Maybe I'm fine with that.
I've got.
I love it.
The whole
Baby,
thing is
I'm
really well
fine
done.
with that. I mean, the original's kind of rapey, you guys. It is. It's a little creepy and rapey.
Yeah, it's tough. It's so tough because in context at the time, they're playfully flirting with each other, but
he's flirting with her. She's like trying to get the H out of there.
Please let go of my arm.
Yeah. Please stop doing that, baby.
How do
Let's
you
go
undo
over
these
that.
locks?
Yeah. All right. And then, yeah, the whole the playing hard to get versus whatever. I think if you read them without the music and read it without any nostalgia you have for the music, it's a little weird. It's a little
Somebody
creepy.
on again, Great Morning News. Somebody said that well, no, it's because it was written during Prohibition, so there was really nothing in the drinks. It's like, no, I think this was written in like the mid 1940s, late 1940s, and I think you could totally get drinks in it. It's like the 20s that you had to worry about.
Well,
that
yeah,
stuff,
but even if it was during Prohibition, that's a dumb thing. Because it's still supposed to be sneaking, like, hey, he's got a little something in here, even if it's contraband. Like it's like pot. Then
right?
That's a dumb excuse. I mean, whatever. I'm not saying
Prohibition ended like 1930. So 1930. So
Rainbow
33. Okay, there we go. 33.
Rainbow Bright said something very funny just now. I'm gonna paraphrase it with a different word. It says, she says, someone said it best. It's too dangerous outside. Here's my penis. That's basically it. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I know there's a lot of freak out about this song, and I honestly don't care that much either way. There's plenty of this out there. It just happens in the holidays, so it becomes prominent. But
yes,
but it's kind of a creeper song. It's fine.
Yeah, and absolutely, Dan Wally. I mean, she is saying that she thinks the drink is a little strong. She's not saying, "Did you put roofies in here?" Again, roofies not around in 1944.
No, but they had stuff like that. They didn't call them roofies, but they had they had a tranquilizer or a barbiturate they'd stick in there.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they still have.
I don't know. I feel like this is on the edge for me. I mean, that one line is kind of the troublesome line, and I can absolutely see why people would be offended by that. I'm just worried. I'm worried that you're going to strip away music and culture and.
Or are there other songs that are like this?
They're complaining about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer now too, the TV show, because the reindeer bully Rudolph. Basically, he's only liked when he's useful. he's only like appreciated when Santa's like they can get some use out of him. Santa's like mean to his parents, like, oh, I can't believe you have a crap reindeer like that with a defective nose. You're out of the. He didn't really say so. It doesn't really say that.
Yeah, but isn't the point of that story that Rudolph proves his worth? It's not the other way around. It's not like, oh, we like him now because he's useful. It's that Rudolph proves his worth, and everyone goes,
him? Couldn't they like him before he got a job?
They should, But what the story is portraying are people who are bad at doing that. They're showing that even Santa Claus himself is making poor judgment. That's dumb if people are freaking that out.
Yeah, people are totally freaking out about that.
No, that's dumb.
Also, why is the doll on the Land of Misfit Toys? That's just a personal observation.
You know why people are bothered by this? Because it's a kid's thing. If it wasn't a kid's thing, they wouldn't be talking about it. And here's the other problem in our American culture. We see animation of any kind, stop motion, hand-drawn, whatever, 3D now. We look at it and people still go, oh, that's for kids. And it stops us from having really cool, more complex stories and other things. Like Japan has this figured out. Other countries have this figured out with their animation. They go full mainstream, full blockbuster. Over here, we're like, well, that's for kids. So if it even remotely looks like it's for kids, then you're way more scrutiny. Like, oh, let's see what's going on with our freaking kids these days.
Do I agree with you about Japan? Maybe not so much when you walk down the main street in Shibuya and the giant boobs popping out of their button-up white shirt top schoolgirl outfits are these giant photos you see as you're walking down the street.
No, I don't mind. I don't even mean that. I mean like they have their biggest money makers in movie theaters are like 2-hour general audience PG-13 range movies.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like big animated productions. Like on the, Miyazaki is well loved here, but over there he's like Spielberg. Like, like they're the biggest things you do. The live action pales in comparison. So all I'm saying is we just have this thing where if it's cartoons, it's for kids. That's why parents freaked out about The Simpsons so bad. Well, it wasn't that The Simpsons was made for kids. It's that adults assumed it was, and it wasn't.
Right.
So
just
anyway.
because it was a cartoon. Okay,
yeah, and also and there's plenty of Japanese anime that's very rapey. I get it. That's not what I'm saying, chat room. Maybe that's one of the side effects of animation being a more mainstream thing. Just like live action in this country will get you all kinds of porno. You know what I mean?
That's right.
If we felt
we really need to ban some Christmas songs. "Wonderful Christmas Time" by Paul McCartney. We can start with that one. "Santa Baby," any version of that.
Yep.
What the heck is that? What's going on there?
Yeah, what's happening there, dude?
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. It was funny for about 1 year.
Right.
And then,
right.
And
I saw Mom kissing Santa Claus. I think has some overtones to it.
There's some infidelity.
Yeah.
And the kid's okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, I saw Mom kissing Santa Claus. I guess I'm getting a bike.
Yeah. I think I saw Mom playing hide the sausage with Santa Claus. That's how that song
and
goes.
any version of All I Want for Christmas Is You that involves Mariah Carey. All the covers, fantastic. But any version of All I Want for Christmas Is You that involves Mariah Carey or her kids, that can go. That can get banned as well.
That's great. That's great. Well, I can tell you one thing Americans don't like. They don't like being told that they can't do a thing. So I think it actually makes things worse.
Yes, this is true.
I watched that documentary that I recommended a couple weeks ago for Monty Python, and single-handedly, America made The Life of Brian a blockbuster financial success.
Really?
Because
America did.
Because when that movie was coming out here, everybody freaked out, had a huge protest movement. You're all going to hell. The movies, they were wrong because they thought it was all just like a big joke about Jesus. It was like the opposite of that. But they didn't know that. So blasphemy this, blasphemy that. Everybody in church saying, don't go. It's truly a horror has entered our shores. And guess what? All that did was sell 1 billion freaking tickets, and that thing made crap tons of money over here. That's a great documentary, by the way. You should watch it. Anyway.
Yeah, it's on my list, absolutely.
Yeah, Life of Brian's great. Anyway, news. Should we do the news?
Oh yeah. That's right. We introduced the news.
Yeah.
Let's actually do some news.
I'm going to skip this top one and save that for later. How about this one?
Okay. All right.
More than 50 sickened and 24 taken to a hospital after a robot punctures a bear repellent can at a giant Amazon warehouse in New Jersey.
Ugh.
So you know how Amazon has everything you'd ever want.
Yeah.
Including bear repellent, I guess.
Including bear repellent.
Yeah.
And I saw your tweet about bear repellent, and I've got a friend who lives up in Nederland. Not the Netherlands, but a mountain town here in Colorado called Nederland. Great, a good ski area right next to it called Eldora, from what I hear. From the guy who's only ever been skiing once, everybody tells me, oh yeah, Eldora is kind of a crap ski area. But anyway.
This is one area, by the way, we don't talk about enough about how there's a lot of things you and I have in common. We're the same age. We like a lot of the same things, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This is one of those we never talk about. I also live in a very heavy ski state, and I've been skiing. I've been maybe more than once, maybe 3 times, but I don't care about skiing at all. Like, I just don't care, and neither do you. So there's another little connection
exactly.
there.
When somebody hears that you're from Colorado, like, oh, yeah, you ski? I'm like, no, been once.
Not really.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah. I was up on the chairlift once, and my ski fell off and rode all the way down the hill without me. That was fun.
That was the only time my ski actually stayed upright the whole time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in Nederland, he actually has to buy bear repellent. Like, they have to use bear repellent. He's got these things called bear bombs, which just make a lot of noise, but they scare bears away. So, like, if the bears are coming and their dogs are just going bonkers in the yard, then they might break out. They'll pull the dogs in and do a little bear bomb out there.
Yeah.
So
he knows. So he's using it.
He knows. I got to hear about the whole inner workings of bear bombs and bear repellent.
What do they smell like? Do you know? Does he say?
No, he's never said. But I'm looking at
like what repel.
The bear
what
bomb anise oil is
anus
is
oil.
Apparently on
right.
Not anus oil, anise oil.
Anise oil.
Is apparently what it's made from.
Anus oil. I like it. Well, this thing, so here's what happened. They had 50 employees at this huge Amazon fulfillment center. Okay, there's a few of those around the country. Well, not a few, there's a whole bunch. 24 of them were hospitalized. One guy's in like serious condition, apparently. What happened is a robot, one of these like big robot sorters that goes up to the top of the stuff and brings down the stuff you need and whatever to fulfill orders, punctured this can of bear repellent. It caused it to discharge. 24 workers were sent to 5 different hospitals. The primary complaint was difficulty breathing. Other complaints including burning sensation in the eyes and throat. Robert Wood, Johnson Hospital, confirmed it was treating 9 patients, one of whom had to be intubated and went to the ICU. The other patients were walk-ins. Severity of their issues wasn't immediately clear. Anyway, they said what started with a strange odor and a sick person quickly spread. So the lesson here is, don't puncture a can of bear repellent.
Yeah, keep your robots away from the bear repellent. God, I mean, it feels like common sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, but robots
like
don't.
You learned in grade school, keep your robots away from the bear repellent.
The robots don't care, though. That's the thing. He's like, oh, oops, I've done it again. Sorry, everyone. Beep, boop, beep. Like, it doesn't have any feelings. It just,
right.
And it doesn't breathe. So this is how they get us. This is how the robots get us. There's a future where all the robots just throw bear repellent into a room with all the humans and take us out all together at once, and we're done.
Yeah. So I'm looking, I'm still on this page because it's fascinating, on this Amazon page for the bear repellent. People who bought this also bought bear magnet, bear lure. So
wait, to lure a bear? Oh, when you're hunting bears?
Like when you if you're looking at this page, it's got the bear bomb scent fogger bear repellent, right?
Okay.
You scroll down.
Yeah.
And it says let me pull it up again. Customers who bought this item also bought Moultrie bear magnet, Tink's can only hot shot glazed donuts mist bear lure. So you can get bear lure that smells like glazed donuts, apparently.
Wow. Why would you lure a bear, though?
I don't know. Well, why would you buy the two together? Like, you really try to confuse the bear.
Yeah, the bear's like, oh, what's this, donuts? Ah, it's repellent.
Exactly.
You're just toying with the animal at that point.
Yeah, it really is. Exactly.
Somebody call PETA. PETA. All right. Here's another
covering yourself with Axe body spray and then farting every time a woman comes near.
always a good idea. Always a good plan. A Memphis man in the news.
Memphis man.
Yeah, from Tennessee. It's where my wife was born, although she didn't live there. She was literally born in Memphis and then back to Mississippi. Anyway, says he urinated on a Kellogg's cereal conveyor belt. So this is cool.
Oh.
That's the entirety of the headline, by the way.
Honey bunches of whiz.
Yeah, honey. Mom, my Fruit Loops are weird. Tennessee man.
Special P. There's got to be like a
special P. Special P.
A million puns. If this was on the Huffington Post, we would have had 8 puns. We would have been 8 puns deep by now.
I can't think of any. What else Kellogg's make? Frosted Flakes. What could that be?
Well, no, I think in this case it's better to start with other words for P and then work backwards from there.
Oh, okay. So you'd say
urine. See, now the pressure's on. I can't do it with the pressure.
You can't do it with the pressure on. Yeah, screw the pressure. This is like having bear repellent and a lure in front of you.
Right.
This guy's facing up to 3 years in prison for urinating on a Kellogg cereal conveyor belt in the Memphis facility. News outlets reported 49-year-old Gregory Stanton pleaded guilty last month to tampering with consumer products. He was indicted by a grand jury in September. He worked for the plant in 2014 and posted a video online in 2016 of him urinating on a conveyor belt. The video...
Crispus. Yeah. I got it. Right here, Crispus.
Crispus. There you go. Crispus.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll see myself.
Well done. Have the veal. So tip your waiter. Stanton worked for the plant in 2014, put the video online. The video led to the company to alert law enforcement and launched an investigation involving the Food and Drug Administration. Seriously, if you're going to pee on the conveyor belt at a Kellogg's plant, maybe don't film it, I guess. That seems like the dumb thing he did here. I mean, all of it's dumb, but if you're trying not to get caught, just a little advice. Anyway, it's unclear what prompted Stanton to urinate on the line or to film and share the act. Company said workers' union were involved in the labor dispute at the time, so maybe it was connected to that. Anyway, he is set to be sentenced in February. He could be up to 3 years in jail for doing that. So good job there, buddy. I'm sure it was worth it. I'm sure it was worth it. Final story before we break. PETA. PETA. That's the pets eat the
We're not talking about
anchovies.
The character from the Hunger Games, right? This is different.
No, very different. Not the bread with the I in it. You know, the PETA bread.
Yeah. Right.
Not that.
Right.
PETA is more like how you'd say it. And it really does stand for Pets Eat the Anchovies, I think, is what it stands for.
Is that what it is? Okay.
No, it's something else. What is it? It's
People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
That's the one, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, they say phrases like "bring home the bacon" are comparable to racism and homophobia. No, they're not.
What?
It's not the same. It's not even close.
Flogging a dead horse, homophobic and racist?
Yeah, so bring home the bacon's the main one. Then they say flogging a dead horse, taking the bull by the horns. They say all these phrases that I just gave as examples can be compared with homophobia and racist language, according to the animal rights organization PETA. Just as it became unacceptable to use racist, homophobic, or ableist language?
Ableist.
Meaning like if you're disabled. And you're abled.
Oh, I thought, yeah.
I don't know what ableist
I thought
means.
it was,
I don't actually know.
I guess I don't know what ableist means.
That's got to be that, right? Because you're able-bodied and you're making fun of an unable-bodied person. Here, let's see. Ableist. Ableism. Discrimination, social prejudice against people with disabilities. Yep, that's it. So if you're an ableist, you're like a racist. But you're an ableist. Anyway, phrases and so on that trivialize cruelty to animals will vanish as more and more people begin to appreciate animals for what they are and start bringing home the bagels instead of the bacon. PETA said on Twitter.
It's offensive to Jewish people.
It's offensive to the living. Wait, yeast. There was yeast. It was alive when it was made, that bagel.
Right.
The group took to Twitter, offering a graphic showing some possible alternatives to meat-related expressions. Instead of kill two birds with one stone, say feed two birds with one scone.
It's gotta be fake.
Nope,
right?
it's real.
Really?
It's real.
This is real?
Yeah, they took a lot of heat for this. I saw this on the thing. Instead of be the guinea pig, like Brian, you gonna be the guinea pig for this test? You say be the test tube. Rolls right off the tongue.
Well, that's a horse of whatever color it wants to be. Whatever color it'd like to present itself as.
I mean, I understand from their point of view why this is a thing PETA would do. People still bring home the bacon, though.
Yes,
like literally, it's not a racist term to say I bring home the bacon.
Right.
It's not mean to animals unless you don't. If you really believe pigs shouldn't be killed and eat their bacon, then I guess I get it. But I don't know, man.
I'm bringing home the tofakin.
I mean, it just feels again like this is a weird, too far kind of thing. Or at the very least, you're just giving ammo to people that think you're already ridiculous. Like, quit putting yourself out there in this way. Like, you know what?
Zoe, I'm afraid you're gonna have to change your nickname in the chat room until this blows over. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. But Zoe brings
Zoe treasures bacon.
Zoe treasures bacon. Oh no, wait, it can't even be that. Zoe never brings bacon.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look, I love bacon like no other. I think it's one of the finest of meats. Yeah. And I think that, but I also am a big believer that animals should be treated ethically. So it sounds like a contradiction, but, and maybe it is, but I don't know that this is helping them. I think this just is going to hurt them. People are just going to.
Exactly. Pick your battles, PETA. Maybe if you want people to take you seriously, don't come up with something that makes people like me immediately ask, is this a joke?
Yeah. Like kill two birds with one scone. No, feed two birds with one scone.
Feed two birds with one scone.
That doesn't even apply to the meaning, does it? No. I mean, I guess it kind of does.
I've seen crows like pick up an entire scone and fly off with it. They're not sharing. There's no two birds getting that scone.
But there's another turd for a turd. There's another turd. There's another term for kill two birds with one stone. What is it? There is already an alternative that people know.
Like being able to accomplish two things by doing one thing. Like crossing two items off your to-do list with one stroke.
Yeah, what is it? Maybe it's not good because I can't remember it.
Yeah.
So it ruins my whole theory here. All right, well, whatever.
Have your cake and save the leftovers.
I can't think of any idioms, but you keep coming up with good ones. I can't think of any right now. It's early to bed, go to bed, get wise in the morning. There you go.
Early to bed, early to
nailed it.
Early to rise makes man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Oh, I just got a message from Wendy. Let's see what's going on.
Cats have one life and it's precious.
Yeah, well, it's all good. All right. Oh, she says you can be a minute late. Okay, that's okay.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break anyway, play a song for the fine folks, and Brian has prepared something, so now he'll tell us what it is.
I have. I was so happy to hear from this guy. He's a nerdtacular. I wouldn't call him a staple, but they've been to a couple nerdtaculars and they were well loved when they showed up. Paul and Storm, specifically the latter half of this, Storm DiCostanzo, who was also part of Da Vinci's Notebook, of course, half of Paul and Storm. Fantastic, humorous, talented musician, all around nice guy. He has a brand new project, and it's called Sidecar Astronauts. He's like me. He's got a love for power pop music. And so this has a little bit of just a twinge of humor in it, more like just clever wit to it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, this is your straight ahead rock and roll power pop, and it's fantastic. Their brand new debut album is called Play Again. You can find it at Bandcamp, sidecarastronauts.bandcamp.com. Go buy the album right now. I've listened to the whole thing 4 or 5 times over and over. I love this and couldn't be happier. The song we're going to play is a song called Back in My Arms. Here is Sidecar Astronauts.
I think at night he moonlights as Ethan Coen of the Coen brothers. He looks just like him to me.
Does he? Let me take a look. I gotta see.
There's something about whatever the taller, curlier haired Coen brother is. That it might be Joel. I don't know which one it is, but he always reminds me of Storm for some reason, and I don't know why.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying there? Yeah.
I totally see it.
Yeah, he could Halloween as him. He could cosplay as him.
Yeah.
Anyway, here it is. We'll play it now, and when we come back, Wendy will be here. So stay tuned. All right. I've marked it.
Marked it. I've marked it.
I've marked it. Now I pay.
With my scent.
With my scent. With my pee. And then this.
You become more dependent on one another, but your pleasure in each other's company becomes less satisfying, and you depend more and more on the pills to help.
Now, how could anything possibly happen to these boys?
The Morning Stream. How about a booby?
All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome back. Time to get a little therapy on with Wendy. It is Therapy Thursday, of course.
Tuck in for the legitimate part of TMS.
Yeah, the part that, actually is improving things and making a better world. Not stories about a guy taking a whiz on a freaking cereal conveyor belt. Oh, Wendy sent another message.
Hello.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
Good.
Good. I just saw your message. Yeah, we'd had a story about a guy who peed on a conveyor belt in a Kellogg's factory, which is, it's pretty weird, right? Like, that's a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
And so that's why we talked about it here, because we like to talk about people doing weird stuff out there. Hey, how do you feel about, that's a whole other topic. I want to talk to Wendy about this whole PETA thing, but I feel like we could do it for an entire episode, and why we're in this mode now of either extreme
the PETA thing, Baby It's Cold Outside, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, because we're in a world of extremes right now. Like, that stuff's being really pushed on one side. On the other side, people are really pushing back. Like, it feels just like a bad tug of war. But we'll talk about it. It's perhaps a worthy topic right before Christmas or something. We'll see. I was going to make a new intro for you today because that's fun to do. So instead, but I haven't had time. So I'm going to do this one.
I was going to buy you a present, but I didn't.
Yeah, but I didn't. So instead, I'm going to play this clip right here.
Lick balls.
Yeah, lick balls.
Lick balls. I did not say that.
You did. You said lick balls.
Say it again.
Balls. Lick balls.
Lick balls.
Yeah, that was
I'm
you.
saying bake.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Lick balls.
Oh, baked balls? What's baked balls? I thought they said lick balls. Are you sure about that?
Hey, you got a problem.
All right. All right, fine. I'll play this one instead. Hold on. No, that's not it. That's not it. Hold on. Okay.
Poo Fest.
All right, Poo Fest.
Poo Fest.
There you go. You said Poo Fest once.
Poo Fest. I believe that. That's something I would say.
I'm going to make you roll one, though. Anyway, Wendy Dunford is my sister. She's also a trained therapist, helps people all the time, comes on the show on Thursdays and helps real people right here on the show with their problems, their questions, and their stuff. Before we get to that, holidays going fine? Everything good on your end? You're all good?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Before we start, because I don't want to forget this, a friend of the show has started a little website and is doing some cool stuff with writing. You know how all of us think we have a book in us?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not all of us.
I
actually don't think I have aphantasia, guys. I don't have a book in me.
No,
I
you
have
have
a paperback and a pamphlet in me currently.
Yeah, you got a pamphlet. Don't leave them in there too long, Brian. They could, in fact.
You got to give birth to your story.
Keeping out the demonic possession.
Yeah, no kidding. But no, Wendy, I think you do have a book in you. I think it also has illustrations from me, and I think we could sell it. We have to talk about that.
Yeah,
sometime.
let's do it, because I have 0 illustrations in my head. I have only squiggly black lines and then words.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll get on it.
I'm really still bummed up about my aphantasia.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, no, this is he's a big fan of the show, really nice guy, and go to his website, writeyourfirststory.com. It's great for kids who are like working on stuff. It's great for you if you're sort of a bunch of writing guides, some free giveaways, some cool stuff. Anyway,
looking at it right now, writeyourfirststory.com. Oh yeah, look at this.
Writeyourfirststory.com. Yeah, and he's taking a risk and doing his thing, and so let's support him, everybody. Write your first story.
Yeah, look at this.
There's a little free ebook, of course. I'm using one of them with one of my kids to help them sort of get their mind around stories and not rambling on and on and on and on about a YouTube video. Like, let's get some skills here, people. Anyway, so yeah, it's good stuff. So check it out.
And he listens to the show?
Yeah.
Oh, then I don't trust him at all then. I'm just kidding.
Well, I think
DG Mays, is that?
DG Mays. What is he in the chat room a lot or anything? Or I don't know. I don't recognize the name.
Oh, you should ask him.
Well,
he's probably listening right now. Yo, say something if you're on the chat room. I don't know.
Yo.
Yeah, but it's good stuff, and get your story out of you so it doesn't rot in there, everybody.
Oh, and these are cheap. Like, write your first story, step-by-step writing exercise for complete beginners is, let's see, you sign up for his newsletter, you get it free. You can support the author by buying the PDF for $2.99, the EPUB for $2.99, the Mobi for $2.99. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm doing this.
Yeah, and it's like he's just starting out, so that's why it's so cheap, and he doesn't want he's not quite sure how to go about this beginning bit, and so enjoy it while it's cheap.
Yeah,
anyway,
this is great.
I'm
really
talented.
Stoked for him. And I'm writing I haven't told you guys this, but I have a book that I'm writing. Did you know that?
Yeah, what is it?
It's a combination. Well, it's science fiction, but also kind of post-apocalyptic science fiction.
Really?
Yeah, very.
Because of course it is.
Because sort of a fantasy thing, and I think it's actually I'm very happy with what I got so far. But I'm only like a chapter and a half worth of content. But yeah, I'm doing it, man, and I'm gonna.
Very cool.
The problem with me is, I enjoy doing it and it's great and everything, but I start second guessing myself so bad that I'll take like a month away from not doing. I just won't do it for a long time. I have bad habits when it comes to that sort of thing, so I need I need his books. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
check
get
these
his
out.
books, and he has actually. If you scroll down a little bit, he has giveaway of his fantasy writing, so he's got a bunch of short stories as well.
There you go, Chad.
I'm excited for you. That is.
Yeah, it could be good. I don't know if it'll. It's very genre. Sort of thing, but that's what I like. So that's what I like reading. So anyway,
write what you like. That's that.
That's write what you're into. Right, that's what you're supposed to do. Anyway, maybe I'll send you the early thing, and you can read it and tell me if it's terrible or not.
Yeah, I'm very good at like spelling, punctuation.
It's a little. There's a very violent scene in it. That's not the main. It's not that violent. It's very science fiction violent. Anyway, I'll send it to you, and you can tell me.
Yeah. Did you know this, Brian? Do you know this?
No, I didn't talk to him.
This is the first I've heard of it too.
Because I don't want to. I don't know if it's any good, so I don't like talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
It'd be my first real attempt to do this. Although I've always, when I take the time, I've always thought I was an okay writer. I just never, everything's so visual for me that that's where I spend my time. But I feel like this is a chance to, and I can see this world and these characters. It's so vivid in my head because I don't have anal phasia, or whatever you call it.
Oh God, you have fantasia.
Anal fantasia.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I don't have that either.
You don't. Oh, good. You don't want that. Trust me.
But okay, now this maybe is a little dramatic visualization because I'm working on visualizing things now, trying to break my problem. Anyway, no, it's like being pregnant, right? So you're about 3 months along, and you're nervous about telling people because anything could happen.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna have to give birth to this story, and it hurts.
Right.
So, get ready. No, it's really true.
That was a visual. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
See,
it's
everyone picturing that. No, I think it's a big deal. Like, so the more support you get in doing it, the better. Also, you got to be aware of what just happened. You said it, and you got a little shot of dopamine, and we're encouraging you.
Yeah.
And then it's easy to procrastinate more.
Yeah, I can feel the drug. It's coursing through my veins right now.
Yeah. It's like we plan a vacation. It's more fun than the actual vacation. It's the pre-dopamine stuff. So you got to,
Yeah.
God, that's totally true.
Yeah, it is true, isn't it? Oh my gosh, Wendy,
so,
bring in the truth.
So let's go back to some old footage of the show where we talked about temptation bundling.
I remember that.
Tie your temptation to procrastinate writing your baby's birth story.
Yeah.
With something you're also tempted to do that wastes your time. So let's commit right now in front of all these people.
Okay.
What's the thing you're always tempted to do?
Play Diablo 3.
Okay, so here's the deal. You can only play Diablo 3 after you've written for 1 hour.
Oh,
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm in. I will write
And
for an
what
hour.
ends up happening,
Yeah.
and don't fight the magic here. Once you start, don't say, like, well, now I got to play Diablo. No, just keep writing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, like,
Yeah,
if
and then play Diablo.
once you get into it, you might think you're only going to do an hour. You might do 3, and that's okay. And then when you've done, and you're like, okay, I need a break, then you've earned it. Yeah, I get it.
And here's the key. The key is you do not get to play Diablo unless you've written an hour. Like if you really stick to that, you'll write your book.
Yeah, yeah. And chat room.
As long as Diablo is tempting.
Chat room's also like, I thought Scott was doing a parenting book. That's also happening, but that's with Kim and I, and it's basically written. We're just waiting for artwork. But part of my problem is I have too many projects.
That is a big problem with both of us. Yeah.
Just too many things going on at once, so we water down too much stuff.
Whatever. Yes.
Project overload. All right, well, let's get to the thing today. We got an email from somebody, and I thought this was a good one, so I sent it to Wendy. She agreed, so we're going to read it here. And I think the reason this matters is I think there's a lot of very altruistic people out there who go through this, who want to do a thing like we're about to read and then aren't sure how things are going to go. So hopefully this helps them. Here's the email. This is from an anonymous writer. Wendy, my husband and I are in the process of adopting our 15-year-old foster daughter. So, did they say how long they've been foster? No, they don't say how long. Anyway, we recently received a diagnosis of reactive attachment disorder. We weren't surprised by the diagnosis. It made sense. We also noticed her connection towards men, not in a sexual way, but attachment. She's a daddy's girl. She's always attached very well and has a very strong bond with my husband. We're working with her, and she's been enrolled in a partial hospitalization program for eating disorders and disordered eating. The current DX diagnosis, is that what that's short for? As anorexia nervosa, so sounds like traditional anorexia. She resisted CBT before a traditional therapy setting. Cognitive behavioral therapy, for those who don't know what that means. As her mom, she has a close. She has chosen to call me that. She fights me and pushes against me often. This is new to me. I am used to our foster kids attaching to me. My inner fear is that I've done something wrong. What can I do to help our attachment, help the adoption, be more successful, and help our daughter? We are more than open to answer any of these questions. And they also said if they need to provide more information, they can do it. But anyway, I know some people on this boat. It's very close to the family who are dealing with a very similar situation. With in their case, it's they're boys, but that's really the only difference is the gender, and having some of these exact kinds of problems. That feeling that she's done something wrong. The attachment's just not working for her, yet it maybe is working for the other parent, all that sort of thing. But also just the complications of an older child adoption is obviously a totally different ballgame than you adopting an infant that just was born 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So I thought we could talk to that and see if we can help this person. So Wendy, where you want to go?
Could we start with what reactive
attachment?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah. So it's a slew of different sort of. There's a fairly, I don't know. They're nuanced in between them, but there's a slew of diagnoses for kids who have had traumatic backgrounds, and or even, sometimes they don't even have traumatic backgrounds. They just have sort of mood dysregulation, behavioral dysregulation, angry. They can be prone to violence. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And a kid who's in foster care is in foster care for probably reasons that would lend themselves easily to a diagnosis of reactive attachment disorder. Yeah. And reactive attachment, so there's some that are, sort of like, you worry your kid doesn't have a soul kinds of things because they feel like little sociopaths, or they're violent or dangerous, or some things like that. And that's kind of a totally different category. But you can have a full range of those that you could Google if you want. But if you have a kid who is really sort of doesn't have a lot of sort of sympathy for maybe hurt animals or children, other children sort of can't quite pick up on the empathic responses, maybe another child can. There's a lot of various ways to look at that. And you take a kid who's had a really rough sort of growing up, and the attachment part, and this is why reactive is added on to it, is reactive means behavior problems, essentially. Mm-hmm. And the attachment disorder, you can have an attachment disorder and sort of just go sit in your room and read your books all day. you would not get the diagnosis of reactive. The reactive is where they're responding in pretty big and loud ways to certain things that are happening. But it's related to attachment. So you're born, all sorts of good chemicals are released in the baby and the mom and then the dad, and everyone's happy and we're like smiling at each other and building relationships in a perfect world. In a world where sort of maybe mom or dad's sort of not home, either literally not there or sort of absent, maybe there's drug use, maybe there's physical abuse or other forms of abuse. It is not a safe place for a kid to attach. And what we mean by attach is essentially there is at least one person, sometimes two caregivers in a child's life that allow them to develop their nervous system essentially in a way that's linear. It makes sense. They're healthy. They can go forward and move out into the world and live a good life. What if that gets disrupted and it can be disrupted for so many different reasons. That safe place, that sort of foundational feeling of like, I'm okay, isn't there. Then the people do a lot of things in their life to try to either find that or to run from that when it actually presents themselves. They're just really uncomfortable with what you or I might say, like, oh, it's a big family hug. Like that is maybe horrifying to them because nothing is actually really safe or nothing is what it appears to be. So a lot of damage can be done to little kids as they're trying to develop this. They need this sense of safety because we're mammals. We need other people to know that we're okay. And if the people in your life aren't okay, you're not okay. So you take that, I assume that's probably some version of what happened to this child. And then here's this family that takes her in. And so she's got attachment issues, definitely. And then, the reactive probably is anger outbursts and other behavior problems. She could maybe email in and tell us specifically, but that gives you maybe a kind of idea of what that is.
Okay.
What is interesting is that she is attaching to the male figure in her life. And this is going to fluctuate. Like Scott, your example is it kind of is just related to the kid's background, right? Maybe the trauma was with one parent or the other, or someone of a particular gender or another. They were abused by someone with a particular gender or other. That's always interesting in doing therapy with folks, especially as adults, is they aren't always aware of this dynamic. And then they'll meet with me and really they need to be meeting with a man to sort of work out certain things, or they won't trust me automatically because I'm a woman, or they won't even see me.
Right.
But maybe they're not aware of it. And then vice versa. Like I see a lot of people who could never sit down and meet with a man because it would trigger all their stuff. So think of it in kind of terms of attachment is about safety, and who you attach to, it may be irrelevant, everything that this mom or dad does, but their gender matters. So that's the thing that triggers her, is that she's the mom, quote unquote, the mom. So this kid is probably really torn. Like, I want this safety. She's getting adopted. Like, it's your dream here, moving towards a place of attachment and safety. And logically, it's like, she should love this. She shouldn't be reactive. She should be happy. She should be bonding with this mom. But you can't underestimate the power of a wound to teach you that someone may actually not be safe. And that is what I'm suspecting here. The husband gets the quicker route because he's male. Yeah. Right. And maybe he's doing some things that are really helpful too. Of course, we don't know that. And in her case, maybe it's just because she's the mom, but it's possible that she needs to be really patient as this transitions, and it's maybe not going to be for another 10 years before that attachment can become secure.
Right. So one of the cases I witnessed was a girl who had been passed around between different family members because the mom thought she wanted a kid, and this is a weird story, but I'll try to explain it without using names. But it was somebody with a bunch of money. She was loaded, but she never was really able to settle down with anybody. But she ran these multiple successful businesses. She decided she wanted to have a kid. She wasn't married to the guy she decided to have the kid with. He's no longer involved at all. And she decided it was too much work, so she gave the kid to her mom for a while. Then the husband wanted to get him, or the father wanted to get involved again, so then she was with him for a while. And then some cousins and some other extended family members, and just got passed around state to state, family to family for a while. And for a while there, it looked like she was going to finally settle out here with some family, some extended family here. Actually, they were more friends of that family than family. But anyway, it was looking like that might be the first stable thing that was going to happen. But since then, one of the fathers involved somehow, one of the stepfathers, or I don't know who it is, got involved again and then took her away again. And now we don't know what her status is. It's a big, ugly, weird mess. But while she was here, she did this thing where it didn't matter who was in the room or who was around. If there was a male figure in the room, she would just run up to them, hug them, want to sit on their lap all the time, constantly want to be around them, hold their arm, not let them go. And it didn't matter who it was. If Grandpa was in the room, it was him. If it was me, it was me. If it was even Nick would get just bombarded by her when Nick would walk into the room. Is that what I was seeing? Is this a case of this? Okay.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
Meaning the underlying mechanisms in the brain that essentially light up and say, I'm okay, I'm safe, have not developed normally. And when I say it literally leads to the development of their nervous system in a particular way. They are hyper attuned to danger. They're they sort of can't ever relax. Really early on in my training, I worked with a family that was in one of these foster care situations, but they were much younger kids, but they were 4, 2, and 1. And I worked with the 4-year-old, and we were doing sand tray therapy. And, and I am like, why are you guys letting me do this? Like, I'm going to ruin this child. But I learned this really amazing lesson. My boss was very good at trust yourself. Okay, the girl, all she needs is for you to be safe. And, so we did, and I could have worked with her for 20 years and nothing would have probably really helped. But the thing that actually did was her parents, the foster parents, were able to adopt them. And I remember just the most physical difference in this 4-year-old. It was as if she were in charge of everything. And suddenly she could relax because there were finally adults in her life she could trust. Because she loved these foster parents. She could rely on them more than anyone else she'd ever been able to rely on. But, this is a 4-year-old who acted like she was a 4-year-old, 12, and taking care of her little brother and sister. And she would change the kid's diaper and feed him. I mean, it was an absolute nightmare, case of neglect. Yeah. And when that day finally came, just the relief in this child's body, just like, I'm not the adult. And when you are that kid getting passed around, or whatever the story is with this emailer's daughter, whatever that message was to you, your nervous system developed around that. So it was, you're not safe. And, and this mom could probably tell us, she probably knows more of the story, or obviously she knows more of the story, but why women in particular might be a trigger for this girl. And your story, I mean, the mom abandoned her. So the guy that comes in and out of her life sometimes and rescues her is her dad. And then, so maybe there's just some fundamental, like, this person, a male figure is the place where I'm going to find safety, but it's abnormally developed. And there isn't security within herself. So that's why she's sort of inappropriately attaching to male figures. And you can see where this goes really bad really quickly. And in this foster care mom's case, it sounds like she's had other foster care kids and they've attached to her. And that feels like, yeah, of course, I'm the mom.
This one feels very much out of place.
Right. Totally out of place. And that's because she just got lucky on the other time. Because for those kids, they don't get to choose who feels safe or not. They will feel safe or they don't. And so that's why this is going to take a lot longer. And so her role, I mean, if I could sort of give her one little piece of advice, it would be to think of this as a 20-year game she's signing up for. And that when this girl is 35 years old, that's when you can judge whether or not you did the right thing. Because it's going to take her so long to feel fully safe. Hopefully it's less than that, but to demand her to make you feel good as a mom is just a recipe for disaster.
And it's unfair to both.
Yeah. It's unfair to, and it's understandable. Let's be clear. It's understandable as the mom. It comes pretty naturally with other kids, and maybe her own confidence in her skills as a mom and being loving and caring. That is all being tested in this dynamic. So the more she can sort of work with what this is really about, it is not about her. Yeah. And she can do things better or do things worse or something, right? Like she is a factor. But at its core, it's about time and safety. And you're really asking a 15-year-old to sort of rewire some nervous system responses to, am I safe or not? And clearly the eating disorder thing, I say clearly, but to me, clearly, anorexia nervosa in particular is a eating disorder that we can just translate into, it's about control or lack of control. So when you have no power in your life and no control, you can pick something. And that's food, right? That's the one thing literally no one gets to sort of decide for you if it goes in your mouth or not. And so that's often what someone will choose to control. And then it has its own sort of addictive elements to it, of feelings of power. And then lots of people can worry about you. And, you get lots of things from both of her diagnoses point to, this kid obviously is in a lot of pain. And so, as it seems obvious, and yet maybe that's partly why she's resisting CBT, because CBT is addressing eating disorder behavior. But really her attachment is where the crux of all of this is. So if I would recommend any kind of treatment model, I would definitely ask for somebody who can help them work on attachment.
More like they're treating the symptoms and not the disease kind of thing.
Right. Right. And you have to still treat the symptoms. And so, but she's going to be way more open to CBT if she is feeling safe. And that is really like, if you could just put a mantra on your forehead and on your phone and on your walls, creating safety. And that's so hard when your level of what is safe or not is really, it's so different. It's unrecognizable to someone who's never felt safe. So you could be, your partner goes on a vacation for a couple of days by themselves and you're like, oh, that's good. And it's because you're securely attached. You have, you trust each other, you're fine. For someone else, that would be the end of that relationship or the end of that person's sanity. And so everyone's at different places. So it's a little bit about learning really where she's at. And that's hard when you're 15. It's the 15-year-old because they're not great at articulating any of this.
Yeah, that was another question I had is, it's one thing, this girl I was talking about before was, I think, 6 or 7. So it felt like there was I felt like there was a really good chance that they could, do a lot of good things to work out stuff before she ever reached the age of rebellion.
Right.
But you're now in the thick of that, right? 15 is like,
right.
Oh my gosh, I can't. 15 for everybody is hard, no matter what your station is or what your sense of safety or your attachment is. This is when you're starting to, wonder about life and boys, and in her case, or whatever the deal is. It's a rough period. So I just feels like it's stacked against them. Right. I don't know.
It's really tricky, and that's why I think they need to have as much support as possible, because essentially the ask to sort of help heal this girl and have a relationship with her is that you are, as the foster parent, so healthy that you cannot make it about you, that you can, self-care, all that stuff, like really having your support system in place so that you have the energy to do this. It's hard enough with like just a 15-year-old that is securely attached, right? Yeah. And so really that's a big piece of it, is to make sure you're okay, so that you don't need this kid to do anything but what that kid is going to need to do. Because to some extent we're all this way. We want, our children are maybe an extension of us and our value, and some people are better at this than others, but it's there for all of us. And, maybe in the foster situation in particular, it's an extension of sort of your passion and your love and your generosity and all those things about you that are great and feel great, but it's going to be tested, right? And you're going to have days where you think you suck and you shouldn't be doing this. And, all of that's going to be pretty normal. But to make sure that you've got sort of people around you who can, support you, and you can feel like you have a life other than this that is also, so it's not all about the success of each of these kids, because, this is what we do to kids sometimes, is we put on them our need for whatever. And that kid's got to learn their own life. And how hard is that to also think they have to win every basketball game for their dad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of normal parenting stuff on top of a bonfire. I mean, it really is a big deal, and you guys need to take care of yourselves, and you deserve an award. But it's kind of the beginning of where this relationship can eventually go. So be very patient, I think.
Yeah. I think so too. And keep us informed. This feels like one of those I'd love a follow up on. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I admire people who are willing to make this kind of commitment to the life of someone who's, not theirs biologically, who has had this hard time, has been passed around in the system, has history of stuff that makes it more difficult. Basically, it's like plenty of parents who have a kid who turns out to be a rotten little turd, but they didn't know. Right? They didn't know, but that these challenges are there. Not that she's a rotten turd, but you know what I mean? Like, this hard stuff is there to deal with, and you're doing this. It's a big, deliberate, very cool thing to do. And I guess I'm just saying my hat is off to everyone who does this. I don't know how you do it. It's hard enough to add a second dog to the house. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's dynamics that just change. I'm not comparing people to a dog. I'm using terrible analogies here, but when you create that not disruption, but you're adding something to your life that is really complicated and going to be difficult for a very long haul, and may very well have a wonderful happy ending, but it's going to be so much hard work to get there. I just think that's really admirable and difficult.
Totally. And I would add one quick thing about her husband, is to really make sure you guys are communicating about this, and you sort of have a plan, in the sense of, let's say we want to save some money and buy a dune buggy. That just popped in my head. See, I have ideas. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you want to buy a dune buggy, whatever that is. And so you have a plan, and okay, well, we can afford it in 5 years. So this money goes here. And then, when it comes to, hey, let's go get another latte, it's like, oh no, we got to work together to have money for our dune buggy.
Right.
Seriously, we are related, are we not?
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is this. You have a plan. The bigger picture is in mind. You're there for each other. And part of the bigger picture here is her attachment to her husband is an awesome sign.
Yeah.
And we don't want that to be, because it's temporarily, automatically so strong. It needs to be. She's grounding herself in this family, and it's awesome. But to make sure you're communicating so that it doesn't become, because you're maybe going to get the hard stuff and he's going to get the nice stuff, and you don't want resentment to grow. You don't want, it's because that can happen. I'm the nice parent. Adam's the rude parent, and my kids know it, and all of us know it, and we talk about it openly, so that no one can take advantage of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But there is something to be said for, like, and this is why these kinds of situations are so difficult on marriages, is, these kids come with what they come with, and they play parents off each other, just like all kids play parents off each other. And in this case, it may just be that she just really digs the husband and feels really close and safe. And who knows where that will go to make the mom feel bad or whatever. But that needs to be foremost in how they sort of talk about what they're going to do, and talk about the long-term plan of this, and how he can, be a part of that, rather than just she runs to him and mom feels bad, and, sort of the dance that could get created.
Sure. Well, I think this is all good advice. Let us know how it goes, and good luck. And also, it's rad that you're doing this. More people should do stuff like this.
Amazing.
Super. Yeah.
You're improving the world. You just don't know it yet, or maybe you do, but you're not. You probably don't know how much you're improving it. So, so there's that. All right. Well, excellent. Next week, who knows what'll happen? We don't know yet. We don't live that far ahead. So we'll
be here, but we don't know what we're going to be talking about.
No, a reminder, go check out writeyouirfirststory.com. Want to give that guy a quick little secondary pimping there. DG Mays is his name, and I'm going to download a bunch of this stuff today. I'm very excited about it. Yeah. And Wendy, anything else you want people to be pointed to? Wendy Dunford on Instagram, of course, but what else? Anything else?
Yeah, you're going to Temptation Bundle Diablo with your writing, and Brian and I will check in next week. See how that's going.
Okay. Yeah, Brian will keep tabs on it. That's a good idea.
Right.
I'm gonna send you my first little chapter thing and see what you think. I'm terrified, honestly, but I'd rather hear. Wendy's always painfully honest with me. She doesn't really beat around the bush.
Like you have a problem.
Yeah, she'll tell me that. She'll read it and go, "Oh yeah, this sucks," and she'll be honest about it. So it's actually a little more nerve wracking. I should send it to some people I know will just praise it because they don't want to make me mad or not want to make me feel disappointed.
Start there, and then I won't make you mad, but also like. It'll be more about grammar and syntax, and
your grammar is impeccable.
Yeah,
impeccable.
So good.
But your story is poop.
Yeah.
Also,
you've put words on the page very well.
Here's another throwback from this is going on first year we all chatted, I think, but I probably brought it up before. But a great book if you are procrastinating giving birth to your story and or whatever projects you're working on, especially if you're a creative type, is go read Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art again. It's such a good book.
The War of Art.
The War of Art. And it is the perfect, it's like each chapter is like a page and a half. It feels like a little sermon and a pep talk. It's fantastic. And it's all about sort of what blocks you from doing the work you should be doing. It's good.
All right. You've recommended it before. We will now, once again, do it. If we haven't already.
You need to read it, dude.
Great. It's Wendy Dunford, everybody. Stay out of trouble. You got a Twitter account, but I never remember it.
Me neither.
Therapythursdays.com. We'll talk to you later.
Thursday, I think it is.
Oh, Therapy Thursday. Right.
Is that right?
Not days, day. Yeah, well, there she goes. All right, well, there you go. There's our time with Wendy today, everybody. A good, strong deal there. Oh, hey, before we leave today, I did want to play. We got a couple things. We're gonna. Ryan's got a nice little reminder here, but before that, I'm gonna play this thing I told you about, the Pokemon Go prediction thing. Jamie found it. He stuck it into the mashups folder, and so I am going to read this. Okay, this was from. Oh, it was from the Boop Show in 2014.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was from here. I thought we did on the show, but it was on the Boop Show, and it was just me, because that was before Brian Dunaway came back and was on the show with me. So this was just me at the time, just talking by myself in a solo manner, talking about what would become Pokemon Go. So let's have a listen and see what we think, if I got it right. Imagine mobile, taking your phone, your Android phone, your iPhone, whatever, and you're out in the woods. And you're walking along, and suddenly your phone goes, Pokemon found. You lift it up. Camera showing a bush, but there's augmented reality going on where there's a Pokemon in there. Battle the thing, beat it, capture it, take it home. Now that I would be into. See?
And that was 2014?
2014. A couple years
2
ahead.
2 years before. Yeah, no kidding.
I think at the time, I don't remember what spawned the conversation. I think it was just, that's when Pokemon will be cool. Ironically, I'm not playing Go, so...
That is the funny part. And PvP is showing up sometime soon, sometime in the next couple weeks. So.
Oh, but like pre-Christmas. That's great.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yes, Jeannie, I agree. They should send me some Niantic money. Should send it right over.
Totally.
Get me all hooked up.
I predicted Donald Glover on Solo. I didn't predict Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah, you did get the Solo. You totally nailed that, though.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think we've had a few things like that.
I think so too. I mean, when you throw enough darts out, a couple of them are going to hit the bullseye.
Yeah, if you record enough actual content, eventually you're going to predict a whole bunch of things you didn't think you were going to. And you'll forget about all the ones you got wrong. So that's kind of how that works. All right, Brian, remind us about the Tadpool Santa deal.
It's actually not a reminder. This is a new one.
Oh.
So the deadline, the cutoff for the previous Tadpool Secret Santa thing came and went, and a lot of people got involved. I got involved. Tina got involved. Somebody out there is getting some cool stuff, and I can't say who it is, but it's so good it deserves an immediate sequel because there were a lot of people who didn't get in on the previous one. So Tad Santa's back open. So if you want to be involved in the second round of Tadpool Secret Santa, go to bit.ly/Tad Santa 2018, TADSANTA 2018. Don't go to Tad Satan 2018. That's something completely different. Make sure you spell Santa correctly, and you can get involved with this and give something cool, get something cool. So
that's awesome.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
You can be anonymous. You don't have to be anonymous, but somebody will be surprised in their mailbox with something cool from you.
Oh, that's great. And this is, how many years has this been going on? How long have we done this?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say 6 years at least.
Got to be at least that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was started pretty early. Do people still do the bingo thing? Is that still a deal?
Oh, you don't see as many bingo things in the... I mean, that thing is still up. I'm sure Dice Tomatoes bingo card is still
a thing you can do? Okay.
Yeah, but I don't often see the people going, unless it's checkmark legacy podcast. That's the one I think I see most often.
Yeah, I'm just really curious about that. I wonder if you guys still do it.
TVZ gun, bingo Metatuck. There we go.
I think they just need to update it.
Yeah, we do need an update. I think we do need some additions.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're not saying you have to do it, but you guys have to do it. All right. That's it for the show. We're going to be gone now. Tomorrow, TMS PM, 3:30 Mountain Time. I'll probably have had an eye poked out by then because I'm pulling up flooring. So we'll talk about that then. But 3:30, it'll be here. Brian will tell us about how he had to have a weigh-in with Justine Bateman and what his new numbers are, and that'll be exciting.
That's right.
Looking forward to that. And what else? There's a film sack this weekend, although it looks like it may not be Hardcore Henry after all.
It's not going to be. We vetoed Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
I threw out the suggestion. Maybe I shouldn't mention my suggestion in here.
It won't matter because if it changes,
Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which
totally.
is now streaming on Amazon Prime.
Duh! We've been waiting for that forever, for ages. We've talked about this one forever. It's that really old, terrible thing. We have to watch that. Oh my gosh!
It is usually regarded as one of the worst films ever made, but was the film acting debut of Pia Zadora.
Wow.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
But not it's now streaming on Amazon Prime, and I think we should sneak that one in for this weekend.
I completely agree. You have my vote. Yeah. It's a yes from me. It's a
yes from me.
All right, you should play a song. Do you have one?
I do have a song. Now, we've mentioned this, or have I mentioned it? I know I've mentioned it in the chat room. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show. The whole reason we played that Skyhawk version of our TMS theme is because it's Jeannie's birthday. Jeannie is like we call her the chat mom. She is the mom of the Tadpool, but not in a finger wagging tisk 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 way, but in a loving, welcoming, arms around the Tadpool kind of way. So
sometimes she gets that tisk tisk finger out. She'll use it.
Well, she does, but it's usually somebody comes in there and goes butt nipple or something like that. Anyway, so we love Jeannie. She says, "Hi, Squirini and Bertum. We know how much the cover master likes covers that are very different from the original song. So please play me a ska cover of a song that was very not ska. On a previous birthday, I requested Real Big Fish's version of Brown Eyed Girl, which I love. And as every year, I request the TMS Skyhawk theme, blah, blah, blah. I enjoy you guys in TMS so much that I'm waiting until after 1 p.m. when the live show ends before going out for birthday hijinks." Look at you, Jeannie, a.k.a. Jeannie. So get ready. You're going to be freed from the bonds of TMS here shortly so you can go enjoy your birthday hijinks. This is a cover of... it's a cover. There's so many damn covers of Radiohead's Creep. So many covers of Creep. But you know what? They're all good, and I will warn you that like many covers of Creep, they keep the F-bomb intact. So NSFW, you've been warned, don't play this for the kids, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This is a ska band called the Scandalous All-Stars. They take a song that wasn't originally done as ska, and they very much ska'd up in a way that you don't often hear songs get ska'd up. So here you go. The Scandalous All-Stars from their album Hit Me from 1997. Here is Creep.
Here it is. I'm a creep.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this
at frogpants.com.
400% with cocaine. Woot woot.